spooky season this year. I feel like we have a bunch of really good spooky movies up on the horizon, and some that might be a little bit less. But I asked everybody to go ahead and kind of look up to see if there was any that are catching your eye. Morbid, you're directly to the right of me. Is there any movie that you would like to start out with?
So I'm not a big horror movie fan. I like a good scary flick, but I think I'm going to be sticking away from the Terrifier. I'm going to go for Venom. The last
Ah.
Venom movie is coming out.
Yes, yes. So we do get one more Venom movie. This is concluding, it seems like. I don't know if they plan on bringing him over into the main, kind of like the main MCU, or what they plan to do with that.
Yeah, they won't.
Probably not. I
No,
mean,
that's a dream. That's like something we wish for, but will never happen.
It really depends on if they're going to continue forward with Tom Holland. Like I feel like they probably would. So I think that it's quite possible that they do bring him over. I think that he doesn't need another movie after this, but I do definitely think that it's still going to be a fun one, though. Like, these movies have never been ones that I've been particularly like, oh, like they're some type of film masterpiece or anything, but they're fun. So, I mean, I don't see the harm of bringing him over to the main MCU, especially when we are looking at the fact that we did have Wolverine recently in the MCU. We have the opportunity right now, if we want a multiverse of N, this is the time to do it.
That's true.
But what's everyone's thought of the first two movies? Where do you stand at with this Venom trilogy currently?
I like the Venom movies.
They're okay. They're not good. They're not bad. They're enjoyable.
I like the first one. Yeah, I like the first one better than the second one.
They're rewatchable, which is really hard for me because I don't like rewatching things.
They're very much a turn your brain off kind of superhero movie for me, and that's like I've said, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. But I definitely think that 3 movies is a lot to do that with. So yeah, if they start, I would be very happy to see at least him in, like, when we get the Secret Wars, like I would be very interested in seeing, because that's a very multiverse-esque story anyway. So I would be very happy to see him there. But with this movie, it does look like we are getting Null as, at least, I don't know if he's going to be the main villain or more of like just you kind of see him at the end villain. Do you guys have any information on the Marvel villain Null?
I do not.
All right, so Null is the god of the symbiotes that lives in the center of the symbiote planet. And if you watched the recent Thor movie, the blade that was able to slay the gods is actually the blade of Null himself. So I am very interested if they will have that connection happening in the movie or not. Either way, it is interesting to have such a god-level villain for Venom. It feels like he's a bit outmatched with this, so I'm kind of wondering if that will be his actual main villain that he fights, or if that's going to be more of a how we'll get like we're trying to unleash the biggest, baddest villain, and then at the end, oh, he's about to get out, but then we stopped it just in time, and you barely get to see him kind of thing. They could be going that route with it. I don't know, but
dark side and DC.
Exactly. But
I think if he does get introduced, I feel like that'd be a good way to like power scale Venom up to like the threat level that we're currently in the MCU.
That's fair.
Because in the current MCU, we're already at God level. So if we just bring Venom straight across, I feel like he won't be able to do a whole lot unless he's in like a group of people.
He's
but if we're bringing if we're bringing that villain in, that would give him a reason to have a team.
Well, and I would like to see him in that main universe, because we do know that with the last Spider-Man movie, spoilers, but Peter is kind of off on his own going to New York, where he's probably going to be doing the more photographer college student Peter Parker going forward. No MJ or the previous characters. I think they're kind of giving him a new start, and it would be nice to have Venom as a foe in that. I would also like to have Black Cat added to that mix. But yeah, so I do think that bringing him into the main MCU, it is the perfect time to do it if we're going to do that. So yeah, looking forward to this film, but we will go ahead and we'll let that one sit for a minute. What is another one that people are excited for this coming month?
Joker.
Ah, Joker. Okay.
Really? The musical?
All you do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't put that against it. Just personally, I'm a pretty big fan of musicals, but if it's done the right way, you can have a really kind of oddly psychotic kind of blend going on there. You know, it's all in their head kind of a thing. Like, it's looking fantastical while the song is going on, but then it flashes to reality and it's a bloodbath of sorts. Like, I could
I just
definitely
really look
see
forward to
some
the soundtrack.
Yeah, very true. And apparently, Lady Gaga is releasing an entire album to coincide with the film.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'll be good.
I'm-
That I'm excited for.
I'm not. I'm really not. I dislike musicals. The only good
Oh.
musicals, La La Land. I'll stand by that. I'll die on that hill.
Okay, but
anything
what
What
did
a
you think of
hill.
the first
Garbage.
movie, though?
What a hill!
Literally garbage. You name a good musical that's not La La Land right now.
Hamilton.
Okay. Well,
Hamilton's
Hamilton is
really
a
good.
great
Yeah,
one.
Pres-
Wicked is
Bunch
pretty
of presidents
fantastic
singing
as
Dick
well.
and Rap.
Beetlejuice the musical.
First of
Oh,
all,
Beetlejuice the music is
appropriation
very
there.
good.
Wait, on which one?
Dead white presidents rapping. No, thank you. I'll take that cultural. And
Well, they're not-
and that's a huge cultural. L
A
right there.
Spring Awakening is also a pretty fantastic musical.
Never heard of it, so it's not good.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Because
Culture
it's
and
has-
culture is what it is.
It's because
I've never heard of it.
I'm talking
That
like
one I'm
things
not
that
sure
you want to
about,
see
but
on
yeah.
stage. Like Sweeney Todd, as much as I enjoy the Tim Burton
Okay.
version of it, I enjoy the stage production even more.
Mean Girls? Oh my god, Penguwu. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
I feel like we
That's
need.
not
Mean Girls.
I feel like
The
we
new
need
one?
to.
The
we
new
need.
musical. I tried. No.
I feel
No,
like
not
we
the
need to
movie.
actually make Pingu watch musicals with us, so we have that
Yeah.
reaction of a musical hater on the stream.
Dude, yeah,
4
I don't know.
hours
I don't
of
know,
just
man.
musicals.
Oh yes, you ready to
You
talk
do like
about
2.
Wicked?
Okay, are you guys trying to make content or torture me or both?
A little
Isn't that
bit.
content?
So, what was everybody's thought of the first movie then of Joker? Since we kind of have a mixed reaction to this, is this one kind of a universally enjoyed across the board on this, or did everyone
The first
see it?
Joker, I thought
Yes.
it was great.
Very Taxi
Yeah.
Driver,
Yeah.
but it was pretty fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed the movie.
Not seen it.
It's
was a good
definitely
ride.
worth a watch. It's very much if
Yeah.
you like the kind
Thank you,
of
Matt.
it's very much more of a we're exploring the mindset as opposed to
Mhm.
you know it's very drawn out in a lot of ways, but in a very creepy kind of way. Like you start to question how much is in his head and how much is actually happening around him, and it kind of blends itself in some fun ways, especially on a second watch when you kind of get those little sprinklings of what was reality and what wasn't. Watching it back the second time makes it a very psychotic watch.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like watching Fight Club.
Very true. Very similar. Fight Club, Taxi Driver, you know, the Robert De Niro film, very similar to that. So, you know, if you enjoy those types of films, because I will give everybody a little bit of a warning if you're newer to here, we have some like really big film buffs, so we will kind of delve into those deeper themes sometimes. But let's move on. Who else has got a movie for this upcoming month that you're excited for?
Those were the 2 I,
got-
was excited for.
Which one?
So those were the only 2 that I was excited
Oh,
for.
really?
Yeah.
I'm excited for Smile too. I don't know if anybody's
Ooh,
seen
yes.
the first one.
I liked the first one.
Yeah. They were good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they expand a little bit about what's going on with this Smile stuff, right?
Yeah.
Since they didn't explain too much. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the world expands or we're just gonna get another cool little eerie film. Either
Yeah.
way, I
Right.
think it's gonna be nice.
Based
Yeah.
on what I've seen from the trailer so far, it looks like they are going to do a little bit more in depth on that, like
Mm,
where it comes from and that type of stuff.
You know,
yeah, I
the-
love that.
my favorite thing about the first film isn't even actually the film, though. It was the marketing. I love the fact that they like
Yeah.
planted people at like sporting
Those
events and things like that, where you would just see a creepy person
Yep.
standing behind, like just with that creepy smile. It was so great.
Yeah.
I
That was,
love a good marketing.
genius.
I love good marketing. Like
I hope
especially since it
whoever
doesn't
did that-
cost much
A
to
lot of
do.
promotion.
No, that's it. Yeah.
It was
Because it reminds me of how they did that with the Blair Witch,
oh yes.
where they made that whole website and made it look like it was just a blog post, like, and people were like, "What is this?" You know, is this real?
Very
you know,
true.
and it was totally marketing, and it gave me that same feeling, which not a lot of like movies even do this anymore, which is kind of a shame because you know, like you want to kind of be hyped for movies, and not in a way where the trailers just show everything now. You know,
Right.
I don't
Well,
want to. I don't even want to see trailers anymore because they show too much.
Well, and this is definitely one of those more indie type horror films. This is one that had a very, very small budget and probably got a bit of a boost off of the because of the first one. But this is not a movie that is like pumping a ton of money into it to make it work. And that's one thing that I do enjoy about a lot of the modern horror that we're getting is they are going in and making a lot of really good films on a budget that makes sense. So
Yep.
like I said, the marketing was smart with it. It is unique enough that it's not just another contorting old person and and a little kid singing a lullaby. So I'm here for it. You know, I'm there's certain tropes that I've seen enough of, and I'm kind of over it. You know, like I don't. So I like that it's different. I'm very much into that one, and that kind of makes me want to bring up another good horror film that we are getting because, of course, Terrifier 3, guys. Come on. It's
It's gonna be
boys.
crazy.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Oh,
good.
It's gonna be insane.
It's gonna go so hard.
You know, so funny story, since we've been talking about this a little bit behind the scenes. The first time I seen the first movie, I was in a GTA RP in somebody's house in the game where they had the movie playing.
Oh, that's cool.
That's wild.
Yeah. Like
That's
so,
so meta.
yeah. Well, because you can like be playing pool in the game. Like it get like when I told you guys earlier that people live in these games, I meant
Yeah,
it.
that's
And
no joke.
and they did movie night, and that's the first time I've seen Terrifier, and I was delightfully surprised because it was not overly paranormal, which I'm a fan of, where you know a little sprinkle of it is fine, but I do like that it's not the main focus of it, and it's more about the creepy factor. And I think that the first one blew me away. I thought it was very enjoyable. What are your guys'
And-
thoughts on the series?
On the series, I think it
Mhm.
doesn't. I think it realized that look, we have a low budget. We're not going to be able to take ourselves super seriously.
Mhm.
And you know I don't I guess Terrifier himself
Yes,
is
art.
very I don't know he's creepy, check, right, but he also has a sense of humor that
Yes.
makes him 10 times creepier. I want to think back to Terrifier 2 where he was in the gift shop trying on glasses.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just thought that just killed me. It killed me. And so ever since I was like, no, this movie is self-aware and it's making good stuff. So I'm just looking forward to 3.
I
I'm
do
looking forward to the
enjoy it.
memes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The memes that come from this series are great. But yeah, I do enjoy, instead of it just being jump scares and stuff, it has fun with it, you know, because I've always enjoyed the horror villains that play with the food, as you might say. You know, your Freddy Krueger's, your Pinhead's another fantastic example. I enjoy a little bit of cheekiness to go with my horror films. So
Yep.
I was delightfully surprised with the first one because it's not just another slasher film. There's a lot of fun that goes along with it.
I
Mm-hmm.
can do
Yeah.
most horror, but I do not touch slasher films. They're
Mm.
way too intense.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I've just never been a fan of horror movies. Just
that's
never
fair.
was my cup of tea.
You know
Yeah.
what? And when I hear it, I guess if people are like, no, I don't like it because they're cheesy or they're lame but when I hear no, they're too scary, it's like, well, that's the point. So
Yeah, no.
I
It's just not
guess
my
you
cup
just
of
don't-
tea.
Right. You just don't like being scared. Is that the issue, or just man? They
No,
don't do
not at all.
anything for you?
I
No,
like a
it's
lot
just-
of horror movies, and I really like psychological, like thrillers and stuff. I
Yeah.
just don't like excessive amounts of gore, and that's
Gore.
what
Ah,
the
that's fair.
slasher like
Yeah.
category kind of harps on.
I will
Yeah.
throw this one out here just because we are a geek culture channel. For anyone that does enjoy slasher films and wants to find a good comic book to dive into for the Halloween season, look up Hack Slash. It is an Image comic that is about
That's good.
Cassie Hack, a woman that is in a Mad Max style world that has been taken over by
Ooh.
hack and slash villains. For example, she ends up actually teaming up with Chucky in one run. So very fun one. It's
Fun.
very over the top.
Yeah.
They were supposed to get a movie and it never did, but still very
Damn.
much worth going and digging up. There's a bunch of different runs of it, so you can dive in pretty much anywhere. It's a good time. So definitely, if you're looking for something for this Halloween comic book wise, go and check out Hack Slash.
And I recommend watching Child's Play.
I love Chucky. Watch the
Chucky.
television show. It is actually fairly good.
The
With his
television show
kid.
for real?
Yeah, as his
Okay.
kid. It's actually not bad.
Mhm.
So
It's great. I love it.
So do we have any other movies on the slate for October that anyone is hyped for before we move on to our next category?
Nope.
I can't
I
really.
mainly
there were
prep
some
video
okay
games.
ones
Mm.
that
too.
don't really stand out to me, like Heretic.
Yeah, yeah.
Looked pretty cool, but that's more like a test your religion kind of psychological thing. But
Right.
it's coming. It should be interesting at the very least. It might even be up Morbid Alley.
Okay.
from which-
I like The Exorcist and like I really liked The Conjuring and those types of things. Just kind of mellowed out horror.
Right. All right.